Chapter 5. Jane, help me. Please help me. That sounds like Liv. A wave of concern washed over Jane. She rushed to the main entrance, quickly unlocked and opened the door and was shocked by Liv's appearance. The girl is pale as a white rose. She's shaking like an old car and has a black eye. There are blue and purple bruises on her arms and legs. Liv needs to get to the ER. Jane retrieved the cell phone from her tote bag. They attacked me, Liv shouted, tears streaming down her cheeks. Liv who? Jane questioned, wondering whether the assailant was still present in the building. My clothes, jewelry, shoes, and purses. Liv's gray-blue eyes were as large as tabletop saucers, and her breathing was rapid, as though she had just finished a sprint. Liv, Jane, stop looking at me as if I'm crazy. I'm not. But how? The Blue Shore Tower is haunted. Liv's lower lip quivered. Considering Liv's physical and mental state, Jane quickly called 911 and requested an ambulance to transport her to the hospital. Also, she was intrigued as to why the mobile phone smelled like sage. Soon, Michelle, Liv's friend, along with some residents from Jane's floor, assembled near the entrance of Jane's loft, attempting to uncover what happened from Liv. When the paramedics arrived, both Liv and Michelle went with them, while the other residents left, and Jane went back inside her loft, locking the door behind her. As she sat on a white leather loo seat, she pondered over what had occurred to Liv. The girl was scared and shaking. It looked as though she had gotten the hell beaten out of her. Zora was right. A green-haired girl was attacked at the complex. The horrid and the hellish have come to life. Jane observed that the loft was becoming dimmer, similar to how the reception area of the Blue Shore Tower had been when she found herself at Dockweiler Beach with Harry. It's not going to happen again. Not if I can help it. Jane leaped off the love seat and made her way to the entrance door, and within a blink of an eye, she was in a wooden-paneled dressing room, standing on a deep blue carpet. A creepy silence choked the room while bone-chilling air tore her face, neck, arms, and lower legs. To stave off the cold, she rubbed her palms against her arms for warmth as the overpowering scent of gardenias assailed her senses. Veering around, Jane noted a cushioned wooden chair with cabriole legs next to a huge vanity. An assortment of combs, handheld mirrors, hairbrushes, makeup compacts, and perfume bottles lined its counter. Without warning, a blurry object zoomed past her and burrowed into a wall, prompting a scream to fly out her lips. Once she collected herself, Jane's eyes flitted about the room similar to a bird trapped indoors, darting from the lighted three-tier chandelier to a large wardrobe cabinet situated against the central wall. The middle shelves were crammed with high heels, ankle-strap footwear, and leather platform shoes. The sections on the right and left housed an assortment of hats, purses, and gloves. Her gaze then settled on 4 clothing racks filled with evening gowns positioned in front of some blue velvet drapes. What's with the teddy bears scattered around here? Jane reflected. The sound of music pierced her thoughts and the silence of the room. That's a Billie Holiday record playing. Someone is here. Jane continued rubbing her palms against her arms to keep warm and moved toward the direction of the music, passing 2 large oval-shaped floor mirrors, a pink couch, a small table with 2 bentwood chairs, and she halted on encountering 5 dummies with high cheekbones. Brush strokes defined their hairstyles, eyebrows, eyelashes, and eyes. Evening dresses crafted from silk, satin, and velvet adorned them, accompanied by sparkling gemstone accessories, such as earrings, necklaces, and bracelets. 2 of the mannequins were showcasing fur coats. I'm the one who should be wearing a fur coat, she muttered, and removed the fur coat from one of the mannequins and put it on herself. Soon the chilliness gnawing at her skin and bones became a distant memory. Right after that, she let out a scream as the heads, torsos, and limbs of the mannequins began to move, and real hair along with authentic eyebrows swiftly replaced the artificially painted hair. Moreover, genuine eyes took the place of the glass versions. My God, they're alive. Terrified, Jane ran over to the blue drapes, pulled them apart, expecting to find windows through which she could escape. Instead, all she saw was row after row of red bricks. I can't get out of here. I can't get out of here. She cried out as gales of wind tunneled through her nose. Her hands were trembling as if they were afflicted with Parkinson's, and her heart raced uncontrollably. Pivoting around, she observed the mannequins walking towards her. "What do you guys want?" Jane's voice trembled with fear, and her dark brown eyes blinked nonstop. Outnumbered and facing 5 human dolls and 10 eyes, she contemplated her next move. "Don't be frightened," spoke a redhead woman attired in an off-the-shoulder pink evening gown. "You should leave this place quickly before you get trapped like us. And that colored girl, Marie, I certainly don't want to get stuck in this place." Jane reflected. "How do I get out of here?" she inquired. "Head into the parlor. There's a door that leads into the hallway. Exit the hallway using the gold door. Close your eyes and pinch your nose when you open that gold door and run," instructed a woman with jet black hair clad in a one-shouldered black velvet evening gown. The redhead clapped her hands. "Ladies, it's time for us to return to our stations." She gestured invitingly to the other women. "We need to save our energy to kill Edith." "Who's Edith? Why do they want to kill her?" Jane deliberated as she watched the human dolls take their posts and assume department store display poses. Their hatred of Edith shone in their eyes and was stamped on their lips. In mere seconds, stillness jacketed them, and they were mannequins again. Am I losing my mind? I've observed mannequins change into people and then back into mannequins, and 2 of them just spoke to me. Jane spotted a door with a glass doorknob and hurried toward it. Despite twisting and turning the doorknob, the door wouldn't open. Retrieving a credit card from her wallet in the tote bag, she slid the card in the gap between the doorknob and door frame, bent the card in the direction of the knob, and then bent the end of the card toward the frame. The door opened slightly as the latch bolt made the sound of being freed. She tossed the card into the tote. When she fully opened the door, a dazed look gripped her face. "There's a shaft of iridescent light pouring through the ceiling into this empty room. I'm definitely not setting foot in there." Stepping away from the door, she grabbed a teddy bear, threw it into the room, and the toy vanished. "Where did it go?" Jane wondered, and then she let out a scream loud enough to wake Egyptian mummies as something ran between her ankles. "Meow!" "Meow." "It's a cat," Jane confirmed, but the animal's behavior still made her a little uneasy. "Come he mia mia." That's Marie. She has a southern dialect. Jane followed the white cat as it cut a path through the mannequins. She ended up facing 2 partially open sliding panels. The cat walked through the space between the panels, down 2 steps, and through a shimmering wall. "That cat is returning to the parlor. I need to get to the parlor to access the gold door to leave this place." Jane pushed the panels farther apart. The monkey mind soon began to chatter, saying things like, "Jane, you might die if you attempt to walk through that wall." "Jane, you might get stuck if you walk through that wall." "Jane, you might get transported somewhere else." I wish the monkey mind would shut up, Jane thought. I have to take a chance, or I'll become trapped inside this dressing room. As she walked down the 2 steps that led to the parlor and passed through the shimmering wall, she closed her eyes, ignored the monkey mind, and bit her lower lip without realizing it. When she opened her eyes, she was standing inside the parlor, feeling a little relieved. "Halo, I'm Marie," greeted a dark chocolate brown, barefooted woman. The whites of her gray eyes were a deep red color. She was lounging on a red and gold-striped silk divan. Her oval face was surrounded by black Marcel waves. The smiling half-moon-shaped lips stole the attention away from a medium-sized sniffer. She wore a red dress with a sweetheart neckline that accentuated her voluptuous figure. Pearl-cut and marquise-cut diamond rings decorated each of her fingers. Proceeding further inside the parlor, Jane glimpsed a fireplace to the far right. A poker, brush, and shovel were placed alongside its hearth. Chandelier table lamps, vintage clawfoot furniture, crystal liquor containers, and wine glasses sprinkled the room. The strong fragrance of gardenias hovered over the parlor as well, and 3 enormous oil paintings of a high society blonde dominated the room. I bet Marie can hear everything that's said in the dressing room. "My name is Jane. Marie. I want to go home right now." "Jane, have a seat over hey." Marie pointed to a tufted, yellow velvet, high wingback chair. Instead of sitting, she raced towards the parlor door, opened it, and saw a gold door at the end of the hallway. then dashed down the corridor, passing a living room toward the gold door. Upon opening the door, she was hit by the pungent odor of decaying eggs, and a wall of thick gray percolating sludge blocked the doorway. Her breathing quickened, and her heart started to race, and she felt a surge of panic that she would suffocate if she walked through that goop. Jane was unable to close her eyes and pinch her nose despite being instructed to do so by the human doll with jet black hair. She slammed the gold door shut and explored the minimally furnished and windowless white living room before returning to the parlor. The strong odor of gardenias is giving a concert in here, too, she remarked, surveying a vintage Philco radio occupying an end table, and a white comb with a couple of strands of long brown hair laying on a coffee table. Opening a closet door, she spotted 3 large brown paper bags with twisted handles. Looking inside one of them, she discovered some female Beaucourt Hotel uniforms and pulled them out the bag. Who do these uniforms belong to? What are they doing in the closet? After returning the uniforms into the bag, she closed the closet door, entered the pink and white kitchenette, and spied a small bathroom. Marie must use this kitchenette and bathroom. I don't think those women in the dressing room poop, piss, bathe, or eat. Jane pulled open a kitchen drawer, grabbed a matchbook, tucked it into her pants pocket, left the pack of Camels untouched, and returned to the parlor with her eyes cast down. Meow, meow. I knowed you'd come back. Marie petted Mia. Dey always do, Nia. Don't dey, Mia. Is Marie referring to the ladies whom those uniforms belong to? Jane considered. They the hell who? She demanded, sitting down on the tufted yellow velvet high wingback chair, bubbling over with frustration that soon exploded into hot tears that rolled down her cheeks. Marie ignored Jane's question as well as her tears and put a Billy Eckstine album on the Philco record player, radio. If I would have listened to Zora and hadn't purchased that loft, my black ass wouldn't be stranded in some crazy parallel world in an off-the-wall hotel suite during the 1940s, where black people are still being called colored. Mannequins come alive. Something blurry zooms around the place, and dealing with a black woman that I trust as far as I can throw her.